Yes, also known Avery like a very nice guy, also known as Carlton Banks. Carlton with a K, B-A-N triple X. Carlton with a K, B-A-N-X-X-X. And I'm here with my brother, the co-host, Just Devon.
It is just Devon. Thank you. Thank you.
Just Devon.
We're in the middle. These get released later, so we're in the middle of the beginning of the zombie apocalypse. We don't know what we're in the middle of. If you're looking at this right now and you're scavenging for food, things went bad with Corona.
Yeah.
If you're not, we overreact.
Just as
it could go
to get famous.
anywhere. It could go anywhere. It could go anywhere. Yeah. Who knows? I mean, if we're all scavenging for food, maybe that's how you become famous.
Wow.
They're like, you're the one guy on the radio.
Wow.
I don't know.
That would be terrible. And also, it's Pie Day, too.
It is Pie Day. I almost missed out on Pie Day.
Everybody has coronavirus. That's what's going on right now. Why? You niggas ain't safe?
I don't think a lot of people. Yeah, America has not taken it as seriously as a lot of other countries, which we've been talking about in the recent weeks. So, yeah, it's just, I mean, a lot of people don't even know where to get tested, even though there are places to go get tested. So, have you been tested yet?
No, I haven't. You can get tested at CVS.
Yeah.
I signed up. You can get tested at CVS.
I feel
like a lot of people. Go ahead.
I mean, I got tested, but I didn't get tested until like a few days ago.
Yeah.
And I did the nose test, the little swab thing. It is definitely uncomfortable. It's like, when you were a kid, or this is just dating me because that's how long I've been in the pool. When you're in the pool and you like suck a little water in your nose.
Really?
It feels like, because it's hitting right here and it stays. Like they put one up your nose and they twist it and they leave it there for 10 seconds, and then they come around to the other nostril and they
10 seconds?
And they it's like 10 to 15 seconds.
That's forever.
Yeah, it feels like forever. But once it's there, you're just like, oh, you're crying a little bit, but you're like, oh, okay.
Wait, hold on. Let's go back. Nope, don't do it. You're what? You're crying a little bit.
Yeah, like the tears are coming out your eyes. Like,
bitch boy.
You know what I mean? That's just like that's an automatic response. I don't know if that really, that's just, we're all human. So we got tear ducts, they work. So
I'm a real nigga. I wouldn't cry.
I can't wait till you get your test. So
I'm a real nigga, and people are scared of me. You know why they're scared of me? Because I'm black and ugly as ever. I stay Houston down to my socks. It's in my humble opinion at home edition. I don't have on socks. I don't even have on pants. It's great. All right. So I'm your host. A very nice guy, Carlton Banks, Vince McBand. Just call me Avery. That's what my friends call me. And since all 15 of you that watch this, we're all friends. So
actually, good bit of news. Since quarantine happened, I think we're up to like 25 constant. 25 constant. So wow. It's rising. It's rising. Mom might have just started watching.
Yeah, I know.
She might be part of the 20.
She might be part
of the new 10.
She don't support this show. I'd say something, but my dad would say, he'd be like, he'd hear it. I was gonna say something real slick, but I'm not doing that. All right. Anyway, once again, I'm Avery, like a very nice guy. It's your boy Chips Ahoy, and that's so corny. My brother over there, our co-host Just Devon. Boom.
Yeah, that's me.
Boom, 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 boom.
That's
Just
me.
Devon.
Hopefully,
and we have a special guest.
Corona free.
Yes, hopefully Corona.
Hopefully Corona free.
Hopefully Corona free. Bars.
Now,
mixtape coming out never.
The past few weeks, we had two guests that came from China. Yes. They didn't come from China. They came from Houston.
We knew what you
meant. They lived in China, and it was interesting to talk to them about their experiences with quarantine.
Yeah.
China. We have a guest today that has experiences in another country that'd be interesting to talk about because all we've talked about is China. We're like, oh, we just look over there, but there are plenty of other countries. The whole world is facing this. So we are sitting down. Oh wait, I stepped all over your intro. My bad.
You're all right, man.
My bad.
It's fine. The show flows, man. Let it flow.
Okay.
Alvina's last name is White. We're sitting down with Melesa. Wow, how I just forget your last name?
It's Martin.
Melesa Martin. Eminem. Melesa Martin. Eminem. Sweet. Melesa Martin. I remember Melesa Martin when I met her.
Wait. Hold this a second because I feel like she's going to correct the name thing here.
Go ahead.
It's Melesa.
Melesa. I understand.
Melesa.
I understand.
I've always called her Mel.
Right.
I'll call you Mel. No, our last guest name was Tiffany. And every time my brother called her Tiffany, she was like, wait. Yeah.
I was like, oh, did I say something wrong? She's like, oh, it's Tiffany. I was like, oh, my bad.
I would see Mel around town. She was very polite. One time I cut my beard and she was like, she did not like that. She was vocal.
She told you about the beard?
Bruh, when I cut my beard, I'm trying to play it off. I think she remembered. She was like, this is not the Avery I remember. It was like, yeah, nigga, you was handsome. And then you got that beard.
That's what I meant.
That's the way she came. I was like, God damn. She kept saying it. I was like, and we were drunk. I was like, God damn, nigga.
That's what it was. I was too vocal just because I was feeling it.
I respect the realness. I'm not mad at it. I thought it was hilarious.
Now,
I get confused when people change something and I see them out and I only see them out. You know, that feeling of like, I think I know you, but yeah. So now, I knew you, but you just look different.
That was the last time. I think the last time we saw you was after the Suffers concert at Dean's.
Yes, Dean's.
Suffer. Oh, yes.
Yeah. Maybe we.
I used to do.
No. The last time we saw her was at Wonky Power at Yeah, because we were drunk. We were drinking a lot of beer. It was at Wonky Power for what was the it was Bounce and Turn. That was the same one that what's his name cursed us out about
Bounce
Prince.
Turn party was after I saw you guys at Dean's.
Yeah.
Dean's was every Thursday for me.
Yeah. So you were, I'm about to say, so you were doing tour manager for the Suffers. You were putting together that Thursday night at Dean's. And then you moved to where now?
I'm in Barcelona, Spain.
Okay, so first off, what prompted the move to Barcelona?
It wasn't sudden. Anybody that knew me knew that I was going to Spain almost every year. I was going anytime it was close to my birthday in the summer. So I was loving just coming to Barcelona or going to one of the islands nearby. And then finally it got to the point that I felt like if I'm gonna keep coming here and I feel so sad when I leave, I need to figure out a way to stay there, or at least to give it a year and see if it's meant for me, you know?
Okay. So initially you were going to Barcelona at your leisure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's pretty.
And what attracted you to Barcelona just at first? Just like you just random, or were you like, yo, Barcelona has always been the spot I want to go to?
Oh, wow. Yeah. So Spain was never on my radar. I had this infatuation with going to the best beaches. There were magazines like Condé Nast Traveler and
Galveston wasn't enough.
Leisure. I'm sorry?
Galveston wasn't enough for you?
I went to Galveston for prom.
I'm just joking.
Wow.
Anybody that is familiar with Texas, Galveston is not enough for anybody. It's not a great beach. It's a cool beach. It's not a great beach.
I'm gonna try to just leave it alone because I know a lot of people still enjoy going to Galveston.
Because they don't know better. I too was like them until somebody took me to a real beach, and I was like, oh, you could like
South
you can see down in the water all the way down.
When you first see like blue, clear water and like sugary sand, you realize maybe Galveston wasn't that great.
Damn, that sand is all clumpy.
Nah,
It's
it
just
really
it's
is.
like a
It's
big
like
litter
mud.
box.
It's mud.
Mud. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's mud.
it's nasty.
But go ahead.
I was just gonna probably say what you were gonna say. There are so many major cities that are not near a beach that to just have that outlet, you know, like I went there for prom, you know, to just be able to go there during maybe quarantine and get away from the house. I don't know. I'm guessing because I don't know what that's like. But I'm saying I don't know what it's like in Houston.
Yeah. You don't know what it's like out here.
Yeah. And we'll get to that. Oh yeah.
Yeah. People have gone to Galveston. They probably shouldn't be right now because
Yes.
America's not doing it right. But that's why we're talking to you. So tell us. So you're in Spain, and you have been in Spain for a while. Wait, first of all, I mean, I follow you on Instagram. We talked. A number of things happened when you first moved out there. So
Thank you for acknowledging that. It was not smooth.
It was not a smooth transition.
Ooh.
People make that stuff sound like, and then we just moved and it was perfect life. No, I had about maybe 4 months of just trying to find my footing.
Wow.
But
Wow.
once things got going, it was perfect. Or it was good for a newcomer, you know?
Yeah.
I always tell my family that I think I went through all the drama so that when the lockdown happened, I was in the right place. Because any other place before that, I don't think it would have been so nice. I would have been miserable. It would have been horrible. My lockdown, and I have people that have told me that, you know, that they don't agree with me on this, but my lockdown was fantastic.
Yeah. No, that's important. Like having a good living space during lockdown is one of the major keys to just effectively locking down. Like some people are like, yo, I'm not locking down because I don't want to be stuck here. So yeah. So at what point in America, I feel like we accepted the beginnings of this in March when the NBA shut down. That's how I was like, oh, the NBA shut down is real. Maybe.
My friend in New York, because I was over here going, why the hell are they not listening? And my friend said people were distracted, and without sports, they finally paid attention.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to understand, but I guess it's a real thing.
The news, I would see the news on Twitter more so. Like I would see people on Twitter, I would see you and other people that are in other places talking about it. But it was still this perception that it's over there and it's going to have difficulty getting here. And
much difficult.
Then on regular news, it really wasn't being covered. Like it was covered as an international, like overseas thing. This is happening in China. This is happening over there. This is happening there. And then gradually things started to ramp up like pretty quickly.
Yeah, in March, it was like one day. Then the next day is worse. Then the next week, we finna die, y'all. Like, that's how they did it. Like, it was like, yo.
But for Houston, wasn't that still feeling like that's over there? Like maybe they were looking at New York or something else? Because it felt like Houston still was like not trying to lock down.
In Houston, it was funny because the South by Southwest shut down in Austin.
Oh yeah, I forgot
the
about
rodeo kept going. So everybody was kind of like, I don't know. And I remember I was supposed to cover something for the rodeo. So I was getting prepared to go. Like I had my passes and everything. And then the rodeo canceled. And then it was like gradually everything started canceling after that. They started sending out emails. The big comic book convention sent out an email. Rodeo, like all these events started saying, hey, we're not going to be open. I mean, even the last thing I decided not to cover, before that, I won tickets to a show. I won tickets to like a jazz show. It was at the House of Blues. And I was like, I'm trying to decide, am I going to go or not? And I just like, nah, I'm not going to go. And that was their last show. Like, that was it.
Wow. Yeah, so I remember. Sorry.
Go ahead. Oh, no, go ahead.
I remember hearing about the police officer or security guard that was at the rodeo that got sick from some tent.
Yeah.
And then he refused to say who he was with because he was like cheating on his wife or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he like put everybody in that tent in danger.
Yeah.
And to me, sitting over here, I'm like, what is going on? Everybody should be concerned. And everybody's like, that was the rodeo. That was a different tent.
That's kind of how we've taken it. So we really have looked at it like it's like, well, we're not over there, and there is getting closer and closer. Like you're like, that's in China. That's in California. That's in Austin. That's that other tent. And now it's like, okay, now they get on the news every day where they're like, yo, Houston. I mean, even at one point they built a hospital near Reliant for overflow. And then they tore it down because they were like, we don't need the overflow. And then they built it up again because now we need the overflow.
Yeah.
So it's been weird. So that's us going into quarantine. You guys, Spain, Barcelona. Because from us looking, I felt like there were certain parts of Spain, Italy, China, Korea, where we're like, people were like, oh, those are hot spots. Like, they're done. Like, I don't know what's happening over there.
Even not Europeans, but your other European countries treated Italy and Spain almost like they were lepers. Like,
wow.
Nobody needs to go over there. They can't seem to control themselves.
Yeah.
But eventually, like the United States, it spread everywhere. The northern European areas were questionable because they never locked down. But Italy and Spain were hit very hard in the beginning. I think you heard about Asia, and then after Asia was Italy. Yeah. And then after Italy was Spain. From what I was told, Italy and Spain kind of started the same way. Not at the same time, they were about a week to 2 weeks apart. But in Italy, there was something that happened in Milan or some type of event. And everybody from that event left. And it just kind of spread that way, I believe. And then once Italians realized that northern Italy, the Milan area was going to be locked down, people immediately tried to get out and go to the south. Milan, Rome, those cities in northern Italy are kind of like the New York, where people from the southern areas, they move up north to try to make it. And so when they realized they were going to be locked down, they fled to where their moms and dads were and their little towns. They didn't want to be in a big city. They wanted to be more spread out in a town. And that's how it spread.
Wow.
In Spain, it started off north of Madrid in a town where there was a funeral, and there were some Italians and some Spaniards in this funeral north of Madrid, and then everybody left the funeral. I think it was of a major person or something, and everybody left, and the whole northern area of Spain, well, not the whole northern, but you get what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Like, it started off in one area, and when they decided they were going to lock down Madrid, the minute there were rumors of that happening, people fled, and they tried to come to Barcelona. They wanted to go towards the beach. They wanted to go anywhere than the city, and they helped spread it too.
Wow. So
right?
Let's describe, I guess around what time is it getting serious for you in the area, and you're like, okay, I need to lock down?
Well, thank God I'm from Houston, because as soon as I started to hear something about us possibly, first I have to say I had a friend that lived in Rome that I was keeping in touch with, and I was having fun partying, and I gave him a call, and he was upset because his job told him that he was gonna have to start working from home, and he was like, we have only 24 hours to get prepared for some stupid lockdown. And I was like, they're locking you down for that virus? And he said, yeah, it's starting to get pretty bad. And I said, I heard it was north, or I heard it was in a different city. He said, no, they're about to lock down the entire country. And there are so many Italians in Barcelona. I think Barcelona is like 50% Italian, 50% Spanish. And the minute I heard that, I was like, oh, we are screwed. And so I did a hunker down. I started, I'm serious.
Houston, I hunkered down.
I started to buy big old things of water. I had shelves of water. I had 2 weeks to prepare. So I started buying frozen meats and all kinds of shelf stuff. I went to the American store and got Oreos and peanut butter. I was like, we need shelf stuff, we need frozen meat, we need water. I created a quarantine entry area. I got my dog ready because I'm here with my dog. So when they told us finally that we were probably going to have to just shut down for a little bit, like I forget the wording, but they made it sound like it was just going to be a little brief, y'all need to stay home, we're going to close everything except for essentials, but it's not going to be that bad, right? Mm-hmm. That was for March 12th, I believe. And then we had that for a day and a half, and I guess the numbers skyrocketed. And by March 14th, they told us, no, this is going to be a complete lockdown for 2 weeks. And 2 weeks turned to 2.5 to 3 months.
Wow.
Wow.
So let's get a view on what lockdown means, because talking with different people, lockdown means like a myriad things from state to state and then from country to country. So what is lockdown in Barcelona?
Okay, so I'm going to try my best to give it all, but it pretty much meant, well, first off, the entire country went into a state of emergency. Before the state of emergency, there's regions of Spain. I live in Catalonia, and Barcelona is like the capital of Catalonia. I would say that the regions are almost like really big, or like states, not really big states, but they're like states. And each one has a leader, and then each city has mayors or whatever. The state of emergency gave the Prime Minister of Spain complete authority over all regions. And that's kind of unheard of. I don't know if you've heard, in October last year, Catalonia had all these riots because they have been trying to get independence for years, and the leaders of their independent movement were jailed. And so they were burning the streets and everything. My reason for saying that is Catalonia does not want to be ruled by the Prime Minister of Spain. So us going under a state of emergency meant like, oh, they're serious. Because even the Catalonian leaders were going along with it. Normally they don't get along for anything.
So this was a group of people that were rebelling just a year ago, and even they were like, all
not
right,
even a year ago, October 2019, the streets were
yeah. So we're talking months ago, right before Christmas.
Right before. Yeah, like these people do not, they want to secede.
Yeah. Secede.
Yes.
Secede.
You're doing it right.
They want to secede from they want to secede from Spain and be their own country. And they let the Prime Minister in every region. There's Bilbao. I hope I said that right. There's different areas, different regions that have different leaders, and they all just were like, okay, whatever the Prime Minister says. And so that helped put a seriousness over everything. And so he came on, the Prime Minister came on television and put out all the rules, and the lockdown meant that no one is to leave the house unless they are going to the grocery store or unless they're going to the pharmacy. The only essential workers were grocery store and pharmacy employees, and then hospital medical personnel. There was no construction, which sometimes I've heard construction is essential workers, but there was no construction. They shut down. The buses were running, but there were very few buses. the metro, the subway was stopped. All the trains stopped. All the airports closed. Like the airports just opened like a couple of weeks ago or a week ago. So I have a dog, so I'm going to put in my perk, which was people with dogs could go and walk their dog as long as the other people with dogs stayed away. Everyone had to stay about like 6 feet away from each other if they happened to be by each other, but we could not be on the streets. If we were found on the streets, then typically you were stopped by the police and they would question you. You had to show your ID. You were only supposed to be 100 meters around the perimeter of where your place is. So when you showed your ID and your address and they noticed you were like way far away from where you're supposed to be, you got fined. They didn't say
how much is the fine.
It ranged. And of course, you know how people are. There were all these rumors. So I've heard things from 200 euro to 6,000 euro, and then I heard a 10,000 euro fine. I can't remember what that one was for.
What does this translate to American dollars?
Okay, that's a good question. It's always like, I mean, it ranges, but always the euro is more than the dollar. So okay. I would say, or how do you say this? The euro is stronger than the dollar.
Let's say 200 euros. What do you think, average-wise? What that would
200
be?
200 euros is probably about $220.
Okay. All right.
Maybe 218.
Okay. Still close.
Yeah, so they would fine you if you were out. You had permission. They gave people that have dogs like, okay, well, you guys can go out and walk your dog, as long as you're 6 feet away from every other dog.
I have heard that people with dogs got fined.
Man,
nobody messed with me. I had and I was walking I'm a serious night person, and before the lockdown, I'd be coming home around 2-3 a.m. So. And then plus I'm talking to people over in the States and y'all are 7 hours behind me. So my 3 a.m. is y'all 7 or something like that. So I'm used to being awake. And so I walk my dog around 1, 2 sometimes. And it would just be me and doggy and maybe a person that was stopped by the police. There's been more than one time I've seen the police charging up somebody about why are they out after, I guess, I don't know what time, 12, midnight, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. But you've never been questioned at all?
Never. I know.
Man, praise God.
I was thinking maybe a perk for being Black. I don't know. I was like, oh, they know I'm not from here, and I got this dog, so they're probably like, crazy expat. Honestly, I don't know how I lucked out. It was true luck that I didn't get fined because I don't think I could afford it. I mean, I'd find the money, but it would hurt.
I understand.
So yeah, let's see what else. What else can I tell you about lockdown?
Oh wait, so I mean, you talk about finding the money. So we're talking about state of emergency. And you guys have a very strict definition of essential workers, unlike us. So everything is shut down. Like, how are people getting money?
If they're not working remotely, they're not. And this is a huge tourist economy, or I believe all of Spain, but definitely Barcelona thrives off of tourism. So there were so many people that were out of work. I know so many not entertainers, but people in the entertainment industry in the States, and they're all going through it. But here, it just seemed like it was everybody. Like, I know not everyone's in the entertainment industry here, but I think everyone's service, hotel, tourism industry. And there were just people that were just like, I don't know when I'll be able to go back to work. The country created, if you were really, really having a hard time, they created an unemployment system. It's called ERTE, ERTE. And it's just like our unemployment, but it wasn't so stringent. Like, all you had to do was just show that you were out of work because of the virus, and you were able to get this income. And then they created so many different things. They paused mortgages for people that were having issues, which meant that you would hope that the owner would pause the rent. They also I believe that people started to, what else did they do? I'm sorry, I'm like going blank. But they did a whole bunch of things in place to make sure that that people could at least try to at least pay for food and squeak by. Yeah. I don't know. I have to be honest, and this is gonna sound horrible, but I don't know anybody specifically that is going through it really, really, really bad. Mm-hmm. But just from what I'm part of a lot of groups online, and I've seen people that were trying to figure out what they could do, or how do they apply for certain benefits. If they're freelancers, what do they do? But there was almost an option for everyone. It was just impressive that Spain tried their best to help their people not feel the blow too hard. But they knew, I think Spain knew that they were going to keep us in lockdown until the summer. The summer is when they get the biggest amount of money, and they wanted to make sure that nothing was going to mess that up.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, of course, but not even just, I mean, in, I guess, authority defense, like, you can't tell the people everything. Like, why would you do that? That doesn't make any sense.
That is so true, because I know if these Spaniards knew that they were going to have to do it that long, they would have been like, hell no.
Exactly.
They were complaining. There were people complaining. They weren't talking about their freedoms or anything like that.
Yeah, not like us.
I mean,
God damn it.
They started talk about their freedoms after America was talking about their freedoms.
Yeah.
But people were just pissed because they would say stuff like, it's not healthy for children to stay in the house this long, or
But death is healthy?
Right.
Okay.
Right. And here's also some context. There's a lot of people in these cities that it's like New York. So you're lucky if you have a balcony, you know? Outside access isn't always guaranteed. And there are a lot of people, because of the low income, that like a 2-bedroom will have 4 people living in it. Or there's a lot of adults that don't even know each other that are roommates. It's very much like New York when it comes to that, but it's not necessarily because I'm gonna be careful with how I say this, but it's not necessarily because it's expensive to live here. It's just that the incomes are very low here. And the prices of the apartments are what I would consider Houston prices.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
it's tourism based economy, so you get a lot of people that
waiters and bartenders. Yeah. And,
so the bar, of course, restaurants, none of them were essential.
Not in the sense of like you should be going there. No.
I'm saying, were they open?
No. Their delivery went hardcore. Like you could deliver from them, but there was no way that you could just go to.
Okay.
You weren't even supposed to be out. Like
no, but you could still order from them though. I guess I should have rephrased my question. Okay, that's good.
Yeah. Let me give you somewhat of an idea of how you were not supposed to be out. My neighbors, and I mean more than one neighbor, asked if they could borrow my dog because they just wanted to go walk. They love my dog and all this other stuff, but it seemed more like they just wanted to go walk. They were like, we've been in the house for 2 weeks and we just want to get out, and only one person is allowed to walk a dog. So they were talking about taking turns. And I was like, sure, if you want to, you can take him.
Did you charge any money?
People started trying to charge money. I didn't do it. And also, they ended up never really doing it more than once.
The dog is probably ecstatic because it's like the most popular person on the block now. Like,
well, so people love dogs here in almost an unhealthy way. They like fall to their knees on the ground to pet dogs. Like, they don't talk to you about it. They just fall all of a sudden on the ground and pet your dog.
Avery, you should move to Barcelona.
That's
you
me.
have a dog?
I love dogs.
Avery loves dogs.
I walk past people. I've walked past. They'd be like, hey, Avery. I'll be like, anyway, there's a pit bull right there. Let me talk to the pit. I understand.
You need to come here because that is definitely how they are. But yeah, so my dog was getting a lot of attention before the lockdown. I think my dog, and let me add, my dog is older. He's a senior. So when the city got quiet and there were less people on the streets, that's when he got happy.
It's like, okay, now I can walk without being bothered.
A real one.
Right? And there's not all this noise. There's not these motorcycles and these horns and all these feet and all these people reaching out for me. The sidewalks were clear. The city was, I mean, remember, I liked my lockdown. So the city was beautiful. The streets were quiet. I felt like as if I got the opportunity to just really just become one with this beautiful city. It was awesome.
And see, it's interesting you saying that because, like, here we experienced that maybe for 3 days. Like, for 3 days, they were like, yo, delivery was churning everything. And then it got real political, like, hey, what is essential? And then everybody said, I am. Like, I mean, Florida declared the WWE essential business. Like,
It was great.
Everybody started saying, yo, I'm essential and I'm going to take these steps to keep my place clean, not really knowing what steps we needed to take. So essentially, it kind of boiled down to, I'm going to wipe everything down, like, on a schedule. And that was it. So grocery stores, you know, they always stayed open because, of course, essential. Restaurants started to become hybrids. In Houston, there are some, you know, infamous stories of strip clubs declaring themselves restaurants, and successfully doing so.
Yes.
Like, they're like, yo, I'm a restaurant. I'm not a strip club. And people went. And it just kind of came down to, as long as you have a mask on your face, you're probably good. And we went through that initial phase kind of short, and it was a real rush to be like, all right, let's get into the next part. And now we're like, oh, we went into the next part way too early.
Yeah, man.
Right. Well, I do want to give Houston a little bit of a break. I know when we were going through everything, my mother was listening to me the way how I was listening to the guy in Italy. And she started to stock up and she locked down around the same time I locked down. My mother is still in lockdown and in her own lockdown, you know?
Yeah.
But the thing is that I now, looking back, I don't think Houston needed to go through all of that in March. I mean, yes, they needed to do something, but it didn't need to be hardcore yet. You know, while I was going through things, when I say going through things, I mean, when I was preparing for lockdown and everything, it was like Italy was 2 weeks ahead of us and Spain was 2 weeks ahead of New York. And so I used to live in New York and I have friends there. And one of my closest friends is there. And so as I'm going through everything, I'm listening to him go through everything. Yeah. And they needed to do their lockdown at the time. You know, but I don't think Houston needed to be doing it when New York was doing it. It seemed like Houston could have waited a little bit to be more strict, but because Houston was listening to Cuomo and Fauci, and it just, you know, the media, like you said, was making it sound like you're gonna die. Everybody was serious and they were scared, but they were following or trying to follow some kind of rule. But now it seems like everybody's burnt out. Like,
I think that's partially what happened. Plus, like you said, we got strict so early, so there were no results. Like, when we started to loosen up at first, it was like, well, we were so strict and nothing happened. So what were we strict for? Yeah. And now we're at the point where it's like, oh, we got to get strict because we're seeing those results now. Like, now we're like, oh, okay. All right, well, now that, because like I said, when I did feel a sense of, well, maybe we did take this too seriously when they started breaking down the hospital. I was like, if you build an overflow hospital for people and we're not using it, I guess we're doing better than what we initially thought. And now that they're putting it back up, you're like, oh, okay, well, we're not doing as great as we could be doing.
I think it was just slow. It's like a wave, you know? We were busy starting the wave and y'all were seeing a wave coming, but it took a while. I just hate that everybody's so burnt out and tired of it in Houston, because this is the time right now. Yeah. This is the time everybody should be taking this so seriously. You guys, well, I say you guys, but I'm using my mom because that's the person I talk to the most over there. Yeah. But she's starting to say some things that my friend in New York and I were saying at the end of March, beginning of April. To me, in my opinion, one of the biggest signs that you're in a peak and things are not good is when you hear tons of ambulances over and over again. Not just the normal like siren, but it just seems like you just keep hearing them on a regular basis. And my mom says that she's starting to hear sirens a lot. And she told me that without even knowing that that's a thing that me and my friend were talking about months ago. And it's really eerie, but I will also add that both New York and Barcelona were completely shut down, and the only noise were the sirens on the streets. So that's what also makes it kind of like, you know?
Terrifying.
Yeah, right now in the U.S., I think most major cities are complaining about the sound of fireworks. So.
Oh, yeah. Is that, it's not just New York, it's other cities too?
A lot of major cities, you know, the theory pretty much is a lot of these firework companies were like, we're probably going to be on lockdown, and we're not going to be able to sell what we normally sell for these big things like 4th of July. So they just flooded the market with what they had when they were open. And so a lot of fireworks went out real cheap. So, I mean, that's just all it is. The deals on fireworks were just extreme, where it's like, oh, I can buy like everything right now. So that's pretty much it. You've got all these people with all these fireworks, and no, you know, no reason to like them, but just to be like, hey, I got fireworks. So that's the sound now. Yeah.
So stupid, because there's so much more that could be going on other than shooting fireworks. And then, forgive me, but hopefully Avery will feel me since he's a dog person. But that many fireworks is not good for dogs. Like, majority of them, we have a holiday here that just passed at the end of June. It's called San Juan, and it's the holiday of fire. And these people, they shoot fireworks during the day, during the night, for 48 hours. And my dog is like up under me the entire time. And I have friends that they plan so far in advance to move somewhere. There's a majority of the Catalonia region celebrates this holiday, so they try to move somewhere for the weekend that is out of Catalonia. And most of the time, these places are booked. Like, you can't even find a place to go to because people go with their dogs to get away from all the fireworks. But this time we couldn't leave. So everybody, well, we could leave, but we couldn't leave. And we were in phase 2.
Okay. So I guess that's the other thing now. What phase are you guys in now?
We're not in any phases. We're in the new normal now.
So y'all are completely out.
Yeah.
So
the tourists came last week.
So, oh, wow. Okay, so
we can go to Italy now?
I'm sorry?
So we can go to Italy now? Word.
You know you can't come here.
We can't go nowhere. Well, I don't think anybody's accepting Americans right now.
No Americans anywhere in Europe.
Wow.
I know, it's sad because it just doesn't make any sense. To me, in Europe, if we're going to do that to Americans, we need to do that to the Brits. The UK and Boris Johnson handled things exactly like Trump.
Carbon copy. They look like cousins. They look like twins. Like, they did the exact same thing to the point where he got sick. Like, I was looking at the thing every day. Like, I was like, there can't be anybody worse than Trump. And I was like, oh, wait, there goes Boris. And he was out. I will say this. I don't know what Trump truly believes or not. But I know at a certain point, he was standing away from people. Like, everybody around him's getting tested. Boris is walking in the hospital, shaking people's hands.
Shaking people's hands to older people.
I was like, Doug, what are you doing? And then he got sick. Yeah. And it was the least surprising thing I'd ever seen before in my life. Like, I was like, of course he got sick. Like, he's going places.
And all of a sudden, some of the rules became more serious in the country. Like, really, jerk? You have to get sick? before the rest of the people get to benefit from some type of protection from their country? Are you serious?
We honestly, I feel like it's the same way here. I feel like that's why some people are like, if Trump gets sick, maybe this thing will get taken seriously. Like,
yeah, man.
if Trump gets sick, we might get a vaccine. Like that's just kind of how it goes. Like the pressure would be on.
We're gonna get a vaccine no matter what because that's money.
Yeah.
Like it has nothing to do with Trump.
Oh,
but
yeah.
all our pharmaceutical companies are in this huge race right now.
Right.
And yeah.
They are doing it. Yeah. We'll have it by next summer.
When you talk
Next summer?
about
that's the honest truth. At the earliest, it's gonna be probably 21.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean probably 22, but next summer, maybe.
If a vaccine comes out this year, I think we all should still be looking at it like.
Oh yeah. I'm not.
I'm not using that vaccine. That's when the zombie
round.
But that's my theory. My theory. The zombie.
I'm not using the first round unless it comes with money. Like it had to be a significant amount too.
No.
Don't do it. Don't do it because you can
have figures
in the bank and have your kidneys fail on you.
Well, that's true.
What's the good of having money if you're sitting on a kidney dialysis machine and you're hurting like hell? The only purpose is to give it to Avery.
Okay, well maybe I won't do that then.
I'll take that money. I don't want to lose a business partner. Brother, I could lose. Business partner? No. But that's when the zombie apocalypse is coming. The people that take it first, that's when the zombies come. I haven't given up on my zombie theory.
Actually, hold on a second. I've got a question about that. Are either of you one of those doomsday people? I am. Is either one of you?
You know
sarcastically.
What? I'm not a doomsday person, but I'm never, you know how they're like, yo, it doesn't take long for society to collapse. In my lifetime, this is the closest. And you see how quickly things kind of happen. Like in America, one day it was, we're good. The next day it's like, all the guns have been bought. All the bullets have been bought. All the toilet paper's been bought. Everything's shutting down. We don't know what's coming next. And it is kind of interesting looking at people like, well, what do we do? And not having real leadership. And this isn't a shot at Trump. This is like, you see this merit in all the states. Like, I don't know what to do because I don't know who is in charge right now. And I think it trickles down. I mean, you see what we're going through with the police and a lot. I think all that stuff trickles down into everything. And so now we're just all sitting in our houses for the most part, most of us, looking.
Watching Netflix.
There's nothing wrong with staying in your house.
Yeah.
To me, isn't the purpose of our houses to make it our refuge?
Absolutely.
Make it a place where we feel safe, where we feel comfortable, that makes us like it personifies our vibe, you know? So why don't you want to be there?
So I do think one of the biggest differences and what we're seeing, like from talking to the two ladies that were in China and then talking to you, is there were also like a lot of people are going out right now because they have to. Like, I need to work.
Oh, wow.
I gotta work. Yeah, that's just pretty much it. So I was like, I know it's easy to kind of focus on, there are people out there partying and all that other kind of stuff. But there are also a good number of people that are like, I have to work, especially if you are in the service industry. Because at one point, with all these service industry things being declared essential, you can't just go, okay, well, that's cool, but I'm not going to go to work. They'll fire you. So there are plenty of people that are like, well, I have to go to work and make money. Otherwise, I can't get, and there haven't been as many pathways like mortgage protection or some kind of delay on rent or some kind of delay on a lot. It's not readily available to a lot of people.
No.
The biggest thing that's happened is we got a lot of money to bigger businesses. So that's kind of
that doesn't help majority of the people.
And it hasn't at all.
It's made America pay attention to the hidden hand. Like if you didn't pay attention before,
Yeah.
you can't ignore it now.
Because when people are like, wow, all this money went where? I mean, when companies started getting shamed into giving money back, like, oh, well, they're like, you're not a small business.
Why do you need this money? You were
and they're
a
like,
big
oh.
corporation.
And the only reason you gave it back is because you got caught. Like, otherwise you'd have kept that money. I said, you knew it was a small business loan when you applied for it, and we did not think you were a small.
You applied for it.
I said, you're a national business. So we like to do things. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead.
What about you?
Imagine all that money that went to these big companies, and then all of the money, those checks that went to dead people.
Yes.
We have wasted so much money where there are people that are not truly essential workers, but they really could have benefited from some type of financial assistance.
Yes, absolutely.
Even just, I'm gonna fight for these people, but even especially the entertainment industry.
Oh, absolutely.
Of course.
It's the number one industry that everybody, let me put it to you this way. As soon as things open up, what are people trying to do? Yeah, they want to eat, but they want to dance.
Yeah.
And they want to go to a concert, and they want to go to a festival, and they want to hear live music. I mean, why can't we figure out a way to help these artists and people that are behind the scenes? Why can't we help them when they are essential to us when our lives are normal?
Absolutely.
It's not fair.
You see, because if there was some kind of protection for from artists and bars and venues and all of if there was protection for it, they would be more likely to be like, okay, I can sit, I can run. But I'm like, a lot of people are getting out here out of pure discomfort. So I've talked to so many people that are like, yo, I got to go out, but I don't even want to. Like, I don't want to go out. And we shouldn't have bartenders telling me the same thing as like doctors. Like, I got to go to work and I don't want to bring this home to my family. And I'm like, you should just be able to stay at home. You shouldn't be risking your life for drinks. Like, like that's just what it is. I understand doctors risking their life because that is, and we revere doctors and things like that. But some of the people that we've declared as essential is, and the only reason we're declaring them essential is just so we don't have to take care of them. We don't have to pay for them. We don't have to say, oh, we've got a problem. Like all these people aren't working. We have to do something for them. If you say no, we don't, they're like, oh, it's on you.
How is the Apple Store essential?
Yeah, everything got declared.
Bed Bath and Body Works is essential.
Wait a minute, those are open?
Oh, they're open.
I don't think people don't understand. A whole lot of stuff got declared essential, especially in Texas.
Yes,
that's just it is what it is. Like
the mall is open and they're giving shit away.
One day everything was closed, and then one day it was just like, oh, I remember going to empty out my office and it was traffic. I was like, why is there? I said, oh, okay, well, everything's open again. Like people are going back to normal. And I was like, yo, the only reason I left is because I had to go to work to get my stuff. Like, otherwise I'm just going back inside the house. So yeah, it's back here.
What's funny is I remember when they were discussing who is essential and who isn't, people didn't want to be essential over here. They were like, oh, I'm essential. You know what I mean? Like,
we don't want to, you know what? I don't think people, the truly essential workers, I don't think they know the gravity of being essential. I think it was obvious. Healthcare workers and things like that are essential. But then it was like business owners saying, oh, my people need to get back to work. And it's like, do they? Because I feel like your people are not. There was a number, like Amazon workers would be like, Doug, we don't need to go to work. But Bezos is like, but y'all do because y'all are essential. And it's very
because people need stuff.
Well, see, that's what I was about to say. That is the key right there. Like, think about it. The people that are home, that are working remotely, or that don't have to worry about their jobs because they have still some kind of income, they still want other people to go to work so that they can get the services that make them feel comfortable at home.
That's what it is.
No one wants any kind of, sorry, forgive me. No one wants any kind of struggle. They don't want to cook. They don't want to not have to buy anything. They don't want to teach their kids. They don't want, it's like, I want to stay home and stay safe. But I want all of you guys to go to work and make sure that things are still easy for me.
The American
and that's
way.
what it's supposed to be. We're supposed to all be trying to sacrifice so that everyone can make it through this. And not only that, we are sacrificing so that the numbers in the hospitals don't get so high to the point that our medical staff are overworked, working over 12 hours and also dying.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
The whole purpose is not that we're trying to get rid of the virus. We're just trying to make sure that the numbers are low enough so that our medical staff can help those that are going through it the worst. What I heard was so at one point, Spain, which I guess was late March and early April, we were having 1,000 deaths a day. Which was big because think about it, like now the United States has topped us, so it's nothing now. But at the time, no one had even heard of people having 1,000 deaths a day. And so they kept talking about how our medical staff were trying to figure out who was going to die and who was going to stay because they didn't have enough ventilators, there weren't enough beds, people were laying in the hallways. I mean, you guys know, you saw the news.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But it was all about, the medical staff shouldn't have to be put in this situation, especially if you can prevent it by just staying your ass at home. Like, it's not very difficult, once again, to stay in a place that you created for your own refuge. Like, why can't you stay home and help these people be able to fight this virus for us? They're on the front line.
And I think that's the point. The point that I was hoping we wouldn't get to. Like, I would see the Spanish and Italian doctors saying, like, this would be manageable if I had more supplies. Like, I'm out of ventilators, I'm out of beds. At least in Houston, we're starting to reach that point. They interviewed a doctor the other day where he's like, I got 10 calls. These are 10 people that should definitely make it if we had all the stuff. But now I got 3 beds. So now I got to make a call on 10 healthy people. I mean, they're sick, but the prognosis is they should easily be able to get through this. Yeah. And now I have to make a call and say, pick 3 out of the 10. And that's what's wild. And I said, these are things that I was seeing Italian doctors say. Like,
they were choosing the older people. It was getting to the point that the older you were, and if you were in ICU, they just took you off a ventilator and just let you. They didn't just let you die. They made sure you were comfortable and everything. But you couldn't have a ventilator because there was maybe a 30-year-old or something that could possibly benefit from having it. And that was like over and over and over again to hear about that. In addition to that, I mean, I'm thinking about New York when they ran out of doctors because so many people were getting sick. Like, they're working so long, not getting enough rest, and there's too many people that they're treating that they ended up, the medical staff ended up getting sick and they had to stay home. So they flew nurses and doctors from Atlanta, I believe, to New York to help out.
There are some doctors from Houston that are up there right now. Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. And even though the virus is not curable, there shouldn't be this many numbers. There really shouldn't.
Absolutely.
By the way, did you guys, there was a clinical trial that was done in China, and I know we don't believe anything China does, but I'm just saying there may be some validity to it. There was a clinical trial that they did where it was like a retroactive, I think that's the word, retrospective maybe, where they were looking back on cases and tracing how the people got sick. Mm-hmm. And there were 3 main scenarios that were the highest rate of infection. And one of them was in a restaurant with recirculating air, where the person at table A, majority of everybody at table A got sick, but then because of the airflow, the people at table B and C that were closest to the person that was sick
as well.
Table A got sick. And then the other was a plane or a bus.
Of course.
Either way, some type of mode. It was
air.
a plane. It was a plane because it was recirculating air and everybody was next to each other. And then I think the other one was like a party or something. But restaurants, in a workplace. That's what it was. It was a workplace. Sorry, my facts are all messed up. It's 1 a.m. over here. But so it was at a person's job, and somehow, like, due to the cubicle setup and the way how the aisles were through the cubicle or whatever, they could tell who got sick based off of that setup too. So work, restaurants, and transportation where the air is being recirculated.
And this is a good majority of our essential stuff, because they're definitely trying to get people back to work. I mean, look, the president just tweeted out today. I don't know when we're going to post this, but he tweeted out today, schools should be open in the fall.
Yeah.
Like, that's that. I'm pretty sure that's in response to a number of Ivy Leagues saying they are going fully online.
Ain't changed none of the prices though, but fair enough, you know.
Yeah. A number of Ivy League, they have announced we're going to go full. I think it was Harvard that first announced it. They said, "Hey, we're going online. Tuition is still the same, but we're going online." And so, a number of people here are posting things like, "This is to lower the votes for really either side." They'll say, this is to lower Trump votes, or this is to lower Biden votes, and that is why this is happening. You're politicizing this.
Trying to live.
Which is why I was like, we're probably going to be in this for a minute, not for the fact that it can't be taken care of. You guys are coming out of it right now. We're
coming out of it, but I promise you, we're probably going to be back in it in the fall.
Probably so. I mean, that's the nature. Vaccine. It's the nature of the disease. Like, I think they've been saying that from jump. Like, expect a drop off during the only thing, which I don't know if this is beneficial to America or not. For some reason, we're so behind the curve that we're having a little mini spike in the summer when nobody thought a spike would happen.
Hold on a second.
How do we not think that was going to happen?
On that, you guys aren't having a spike. You guys were having an increase. And then you just kind of plateau for a second, but you're still on your first increase.
I know. No. I'm saying it's going up when it should. Everybody was like, oh, this will go up and then it'll go down and then it'll come up in the winter. For some reason, we just went, straight up. And so I was like, well, at least this is happening. And keeping in mind, this is happening when students are out of school.
Right.
Like, imagine this. I'm like, this is almost, we're kind of quarantined. Like, kids are not in school right now. Imagine when kids go back to school. Like,
2 weeks before George Floyd was killed, we opened up, and then things were open. There were pools open, and I remember watching on FaceTime some of my friends like, we in the pool. I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that. Like, my gym being like, hey, if y'all come, we're going to give everybody some money. And it was like, canceled.
Wow.
Like, the gym is where COVID lives. When I judge people, when I see people going to the gym, I'll be like, oh, you're not taking your life.
Did you cancel?
You said what?
Did you cancel?
I didn't cancel that gym. I love that gym.
I haven't.
They're not charging.
Yet, but I was like, they sent emails. I'm like, God, y'all are not going to see me.
I'm not going there. I drove by it and I looked at it and I was like, no.
Can't
like,
do it.
No, I was like, nah, fam, what are you doing?
And like, if anybody that's seen me knows it's not going to take much of like any kind of thing to stop me from going to the gym. Yeah. But this was enough. Like, I was like, oh, no. Like, for once, I'm avoiding the gym for my health. So I was like, I'm sorry. I can't do it.
Yes.
So I don't know when our plan is to actually like really open, but I mean, given the way our government is set up, it's state by state, it's county by county, city by city.
That doesn't make any sense.
No.
It doesn't make any sense because too many people in the States flow back and forth between states. I mean, is each state going to start doing some kind of patrol? Like what happened when Louisiana, was it Texas that wasn't letting Louisiana in or something?
Louisiana wasn't letting Texas in.
Yeah.
So how did that work? Did they set up patrols or they just
set up a border?
Plates?
They set up a border, and when you came, you had to be quarantined for 14 days. I think it was on your own dime too. Like they set it up though. Like they set that up pretty quickly. They set it up quick because the weekend before I went to Louisiana and I got some medicine. I was with this girl I was dating at the time. She had a child and she was like, I have to go get. I was like, wow, a mother's love. But I went anyway because I wanted some. I mean, I was gonna go for the ride, and I was like, oh, like I got cough syrup and all types of stuff, and hand sanitizer and things of that nature. It was.
Oh yeah, that was the other thing too, because hand sanitizer ran out so quickly here.
Oh my gosh, you guys y'all had a toilet paper apocalypse.
Yeah.
Y'all had like I mean, over here it was masks. You couldn't find masks anywhere.
Ran out
toilet paper.
Yeah, mask ran out immediately as well.
Now we got cloth masks, which
and I was about to say, I don't even know if it's
Did you say golf?
Cloth.
Oh, just the cute little ones with the designs that everybody's wearing?
Yeah, but like how healthy is this when COVID can stay on that for what, 2 hours, 3 hours? Like this is not.
The goal is, I think people are, when they're cloth, the benefit is that you can wash them, right?
Yeah. So you're
we've been to gym class before. You know how people wash stuff. I'm sorry.
True.
Fair enough.
True.
So
no, you're right.
It is what it is.
And the other thing, now we get people saying like, "Oh, wearing a mask, I have difficulty breathing when I wear the mask."
Oh my gosh!
And then
we all do.
Spread, like
we all do.
I don't understand. I was like, "What did you think doctors were wearing masks in hospitals for?" Like, this is nothing we should have been. Doctors wear masks to stop their germs from getting on stuff. Like, that's what this is for. This whole idea, and we have read the mask is like, oh, the mask stops things from getting in my nose. That's not really the main thing.
Wait. Or the people that wear it like this?
They wear it like that, or they put it down like that.
Oh my goodness.
Like, okay.
Oh, it's over here too. It's hilarious. It's so funny. There was a meme of a penis over the pants. Yeah, and every time I see that, I die laughing because I'm like, your dick is out, dude. Like, you need to.
That's literally
nose in your mask. I'm sorry, it's hard for me to breathe. It's hard for all of us to breathe, idiot. I don't want to die.
Also, it's not that hard. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I was like, I've been in the I'm like, it's not that hard to breathe.
It's not as easy.
It's different. Yeah. But it's not like I'm like, oh, I can't get the air in. Like, you're fine. You're fine.
And here's the key. Like, if it's that hard, stay home.
Yeah.
You don't have to wear a mask at home.
Well, one doctor said something because the guy was talking about how hard it was to breathe. It was a politician, and the doctor responded, was like, if it's that difficult for you, by this doctor's opinion, you definitely have COVID, and you should stay indoors. Because if it's that difficult for you to breathe, this is not the mask. You have a respiratory disease.
That's
right. Like, okay.
That's something I should mention about our lockdown. At the point when the numbers were at its peak, if you thought you were sick, but you were still able to breathe, they told you not to go to the hospital, to stay home and deal with it. You were not allowed, I mean, if you went, you went, but you were not allowed to go to the hospital until you could not breathe on your own. And they were not playing. It was like they were really trying their best to just get the most absolute worst cases in the hospital only. And then not only that, they were concerned that what if you don't have it and then you go to the hospital and then you get it?
And you get it, yeah. Man. So talk to us about coming out of lockdown. Like, talk to us about the phases of finally getting ready to come out. Tell us how you felt, your friends, the dog, like everything.
Okay, so they had a return to normalcy. And so it went from phase 0 to phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4. And then after phase 4, return to normal, or it's the new normal, right? Well, majority of Spain, when they decided to do the phases, the majority of Spain was in phase 0 for maybe a couple of days. In other words, they had already met all the requirements for phase 0, so they were able to move to phase 1 quite fast.
What's
However,
phase
the largest...
0 entail?
What did you say? What was it?
What does phase 0 entail?
Okay, so phase 0 was appointments only, like a hair salon, but appointments only. And pretty much, maybe you could go, okay, you could take a walk within the 100 mile radius, not 100 mile, 100 meter radius. I have to remember the different.
No, we get it. We appreciate it.
Like 100 miles. But yeah, 100-meter radius. And what is it? Oh, so you could take a walk and you wouldn't get fined. And then we had exercise times, which of course many people bitched about. But how the exercise times were if you were 14 to like 70, maybe 65, you had 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. to do any kind of exercise. If you were not exercising, you were only allowed to do leisurely walking in that radius area, what they said for the radius. Then after 10, I want to say like from 10 to 12 was the elderly, and from 12 to, I don't know, 3 or 4 were the children. And then after the children, maybe 4 to 6, I'm messing this up. So 6 to 8, somewhere around there, that was the elderly again. And then the grown folks that were 14 to 65 got 8 p.m. until 11. And that was phase 0. Phase 1 was restaurants, not all restaurants, but only restaurants with terraces. Let me explain. There's a vocabulary difference here. What we call a patio, like where people put out an umbrella and some tables and some chairs on a sidewalk, we would probably call that a patio. They call them terraces.
Oh, okay.
So
this is still outdoor, like if you can eat outdoors.
But cool. Not every restaurant has a permit to have a terrace. So only restaurants and bars that had these permits, and I mean, this is something way before coronavirus. There's different types of commercial licenses that you can have here. And so if certain restaurants and bars had access to or had a permit to have a terrace, then that's where they could serve their people. The bars that had terraces were packed. But there was nobody inside in the restaurants or anything. And there was still the exercise times. So that was phase 1. And then phase 2, and so phase 1 and phase 2, the differences were in capacity. So in phase 1, restaurants couldn't have anybody inside. Phase 2, they could have 25% of their capacity in their terrace. And then for phase 2, stores could open, but only with 25% of their capacity. Now, whenever a store, restaurant, or a grocery store was at its capacity, you would see people socially distancing in a line on the sidewalk outside, waiting until other people to leave. Not really for restaurants, but for like a store or for the grocery store. Like if I wanted to go to a hair store or something like that, or even just a clothing store, I would wait outside until there wasn't as many people. Yeah. But here's the thing. So Barcelona and Madrid were not moving at the speed that the government were hoping. And so we went through phase 0, the entire phase 0. Then we had a phase 0.5. And then, our numbers weren't going down fast enough. So they kept us in phase 0 longer, but because they didn't want anybody going absolutely crazy and getting pissed, they put us in 0.5. And then we went to phase 1, and then phase 1.
What did 0.5 get you?
I don't even remember. I remember laughing at it, being like, it still feels like phase 0. Like, I'm confused.
So basically, that was literally just to stop y'all from screaming.
No, there was some kind of difference. I'm just not really clear on it. It probably was something that didn't personally affect me.
You can peek your head out the window and look both ways.
Yeah. I don't know what it was, but this is the reason why this is funny, because Barcelona and Madrid were taking so long. By the time that we were in phase 2, they just like almost kicked our asses into the new normal. We went through phase 3 and phase 4 like this within a week. We went from phase 2 to phase 4 in a week. Maybe it was 10 days. And then the next thing you know, new normal. And what I will say though, and this was really cool of them, they put us in new normal before they let the tourists in. So we were able to have the city to ourselves and you know, try to adapt and get used to the new normal before we had to deal with crowds. And it just was nice, because wherever I went, I knew that the people that I was around did a 3-month lockdown too.
Yeah,
you know,
that makes sense. Yeah.
And so, and you know, our numbers were super low by then. I think we were having like 27. They were counting everything by deaths. So we're really bad when it was 1,000 deaths a day. By the time we went to new normal, we were probably less than 20 deaths a day in the entire country. And you just kind of.
No, I was going to say that's interesting to hear, because in America we count everything by cases, not by. So deaths are very much, the information is there, but it's not the readily reported information.
No,
we just say, oh, it's 10,000 people got it, 15,000 people got it.
Yeah. How many people died?
People got it.
Right, but like at least with death, you know they died.
Yeah,
and you can figure out what they died from.
Well, the other thing too is, though, I think when you broadcast numbers that big, it makes the deaths sound small. So when you're saying, oh, we got down to 27, like if 10,000 people get it today, they're just like, yeah, but only 27 died. Whereas if you were just saying every day, hey, 1,000 people died, I think people take things more seriously, as opposed to 100,000 people caught this and only 1,000 people died.
That's what they just.
That's how we've been broadcasting it.
Yeah.
So maybe I should say it like that. So around the time that we had 1,000 deaths a day, I think we had around 27,000 cases. But I never really paid much attention. And you know what? Maybe I should check. I think I'm wrong about that. It wasn't 27,000 cases. I think we were very close to. I have to check. Sorry.
No.
It was so high.
Yeah, here the numbers we look at.
Documenting it, but now I'm like, I don't feel confident with the number I'm giving you. I should check my stats, which I'm trying to do really quickly if I can somehow.
No, take your time.
But by the time it was less than 20 deaths a day, it was 110 cases in the country. But I mean, that didn't last very long. Like seriously, we're starting. They put 2 areas in Spain and back in phase 2 already.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
They'll have tourists. We know where the people are coming from.
And I guess that's the other thing.
It's the Brits.
Yeah.
How is it?
Yeah.
For you.
I'm sorry. Forgive me.
No, I was gonna say for you and the people around you, other people that are living there. How is it now coming out? And now, like you said, tourism is coming.
Okay, so I think the consensus amongst all of us is don't let all these people in. We just fought really hard to get to this fucking number. Ooh, sorry.
We broadcast ourselves. We're good. You can curse.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, like we tried really hard. We stayed our asses at home. We did everything we were supposed to. They say that Spain had the hardest, most stringent lockdown. Like, don't let these people in. And I think people would be okay with Germans. We'd be okay with the French. We'd be okay with the Italians. But there's some people we don't want in here. Like, we don't want no Americans. We don't want no Brits. And listen to me. Like, I only know about Barcelona as a tourist. Like, that's how I found this place. So I feel like a jerk saying that. but at the same time, we did our time. What did I tell somebody? It's kind of like we did our time, we got in the pool, and we're all swimming together, and we're totally cool with being in the pool with each other because we all know we did lockdown. But as soon as these other people come, they pee in the pool, the pee is all over us. Like, that's not cool. We did our time.
And it makes sense. That's why it's bittersweet, because it makes sense what you're saying, but then the other person gonna be like, well, it's a race issue. It's not. Like, no.
It's
these
not
places quarantine.
Yeah, it's like, it's literally, not that I feel like it was hard or difficult, but we really did our time. We yelled at the people that weren't doing what they were supposed to. There were people that shunned the people that were walking on the streets and they weren't supposed to. Like, people were throwing eggs and stuff. Like, it's like,
You saw.
You saw it, yeah.
TikTok and Instagram showed everything. So,
yeah. But yeah, like, people here were like, no, we're not supposed to do that. You need to take your ass back home. Yeah. And they reprimanded, they banded together and reprimanded the people that didn't do what they were supposed to. And so the people that are like the Trumpsters in the States, those people that are like that here, they were sitting at home bitching. They weren't out in the streets bitching. They were just sitting at home being like, you know? But
initially, I felt like that's how it was here. Initially, everybody, even the people that were bitching, were staying at home. Because I said, I don't see y'all yelling things from like a crowd. Like, y'all are in your house. But then gradually, because I just feel like the way it gets reported, the way, like I said, we were reporting cases. And when you hear astronomical numbers every day, and nothing is happening around you,
3 million
people start to go like, oh, well, if 400,000 people caught it this week and I don't know one, they're like, oh, okay.
I'm a jerk, because my reporting on numbers is horrible. I just looked up, remember I said I was documenting stuff?
Yeah.
So on April 24th, Spain had 219,000 cases, confirmed cases. Yeah, I was wrong. And then we had 22,000 deaths.
And so that's the thing where in America, we would report
22,000 deaths, 367 deaths in just 24 hours, which was the lowest amount in a month.
Damn, man.
When you report the deaths, it makes things more focused on the fact that people are dying. Like, people are dying, and this is a danger. When you report solely on the cases, it does give people this idea that it's like, you're kind of rolling the dice. Like, and some people will roll the dice on, well, what are my odds? 200,000 people? And there's only 2,000? I'm like, dude, you could still die. Like,
it's like the people that are talking about the cases of the flu, the percentage of the flu deaths per year or something. Who cares?
Well, I think
how many people die from the flu?
You can kind of blame us for that. I feel like that was like a
American way.
Point. Oh, but I also feel
like
No, not us. We're not responsible for nothing.
No,
we're responsible for this.
But I do think it's funny. I feel like that talking point went away as we started to eclipse like, once the trajectory was like, oh, this is going to be worse than the flu, you can't say, oh, it's not worse than the flu. It's like, look at the numbers. It's way worse.
It shouldn't ever have even gotten to the point that it eclipsed the flu. Because here's the thing, even if it was less deaths than the flu, okay, so we're talking about death. What about those people that didn't die but had it really bad? I've heard that when you have it and you make it, you remember, like, you know, like the fear, right? The fear of not being able to breathe, of your body. Each breath is something that you like concentrate on. And then if you survive it, the damage to your lungs.
The lung pictures that I've seen look horrifying. And it's one of those things where I will say this in Houston, and this because, you know, we're focused on entertainment, we're focused on rap. The first person we saw entertainment-wise that caught it here was Slim Thug.
Oh,
And it was kind of like, Slim Thug got it. And he was very much asymptomatic for all intents and purposes. And then Scarface got it. And Scarface sounded horrible. And like him saying like, yo, stay in your house. This is like the work. It feels like something is always sitting on my chest. Like a ton. It doesn't matter how I position myself. It doesn't matter how I move. I feel like I'm fighting for every breath. And that's one of those things where I'm like, you get so used to just breathing that you don't even think about the idea of what if I had to fight for every single breath I take a day? That sounds horrible. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, and the other thing, you guys talking about masks and the breathing and stuff, people are complaining about how they can't breathe with masks. How do they breathe? How do they think it's going to feel to get a ventilator?
Oh my goodness.
The process of getting that contraption in your lungs is just, you think the swab of the nose.
Oh, the swab was enough for me. When they did the swab and she explained it to me, I immediately thought, I never want to be on a ventilator. Like once she was doing it, I was like, I never, and this was outside in my car. Like they swab everything,
Right.
They come up to you, they stick it up your nose, and she's like, I'm just gonna count, and then she comes back, and all I kept thinking on the first nostril is, she's got to do this to the other one.
Oh my God.
I said, it's uncomfortable. It doesn't hurt, it's uncomfortable, but it is a thing where you're like, imagine if I had to be on a ventilator. That is nothing that I would want to experience.
Can't talk, can't do anything, uncomfortable, feel like something's on your chest, not sure if you're gonna die, and on top of that, nobody you love around you.
Yeah.
Can't have nobody you love around you.
Nobody can be around you. That's a wild thing. So no.
Too much.
Yeah. I really want, I mean, there's a lot going on in our country besides this virus now. And I don't even know if it makes any sense to be like, I hope we unify and care about each other, because we can't care about anything these days. But it just being in a country where everyone, even if they may call you a puta, they're still going to try to make sure you don't get sick.
Wow. They're just calling people bitches.
I mean, nobody's called me a puta, but I'm just saying, it's just, it's not like everybody's friendly all the time, but they are all going to try to just follow the rules and do what's best for the community.
Oh no, and look, I'm amazed when you're talking about a group of people that are fighting against the government literally in October that are like, we agree. And I can't picture that happening here in America. Like we have people look, we have two parties that I think they really sometimes have nothing to fight. Like you have a section of the Republican Party that is fighting against something when they have no reason to fight. They're just upset about nothing. And they will get out there and fight for no reason. Like the mask.
Guns and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I can't picture.
Well, just to say, they were right about the guns. Okay? Goddamn.
They're right about the guns?
We don't need guns. I was like, yes, we do. And then this happened. Everybody shut the fuck up.
Oh, yeah.
I was like,
the perception.
Nobody's called me a gun nut. I'm like, what?
Flipped immediately.
What happened?
Here.
I thought we didn't need guns.
I'm one of those like borderline hippies I'm not about love and peace and stuff, but I was like, why do we have to have a gun? I've been to all these countries where it's just so nice, where nobody has a gun, you don't have to worry about getting killed, and then all this stuff going on with the racism and stuff, I was like, I'm so happy my mother has a gun.
Well, I do think it's one of those things where the gun argument, are you still there? There we go.
That was hilarious. That's the clip. That's the clip.
I think it's one of those things where the gun argument has always been if things go bad, you're going to need a gun.
Yeah.
And everybody's response is things never are that bad. And I was like, no, it took a day. And people were like, oh no, things can get that bad. Just like that. So that is also, yeah, that's the thing.
That's why we do the things that we do in this country as far as not taking anything seriously. When do we take anything seriously?
I feel like this will get taken seriously around
Ever.
August.
Right.
August, oh yeah.
I feel like
This
the
will
way
be one of the first things we take
Yeah.
seriously. America takes nothing seriously.
Yeah.
Not even to get back on race. We was like, hey, we're black. Racism. And they was like, nah. So I'm just saying, we don't take that, like, it's gonna be like this until 2022. I said that summer of 21 we'll get the vaccine.
I
but
just
we
think
won't be in
that
this until 2022.
I think America's going to be shut off from a lot of people because, like I said, I do think it's a number of countries
Yeah.
gonna be like you can't come. A number of people. I mean, I think Jamaica opened up its borders. Some Americans flew there. They
I
started.
know Mexico has let some people in.
Yeah, they sent them right back. Like it was just.
I have a friend that's looking real good in a swimsuit in Mexico right now. She just flew there.
See, and that's why I'm like, yeah, Americans right now are still looking for ways to get out the country,
Yeah.
to travel for fun.
To me, I get wanting to get away, but it's the same as the people that fled away from the northern part of Italy. You have to take responsibility if you're in an area that is high risk.
Yeah.
You can't be like, oh, I'm gonna get the hell out of here now that I might have some virus on me. You should have got out a long time ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
But even with that, the way we test, like you test and you be like, okay, good. This ain't no AIDS test, nigga. You need to we need more tests.
Yeah.
You got tested 2 weeks ago. You got it now. That can't happen. Like
Right.
we need.
You can get the test and be negative, but because you're a line full of people that think that they're sick, you got sick at the testing place.
We need at the least weekly tests. You can go by people's social. You can tell them when they go. But we don't do anything like that. So you get one and you be like, well, I'm good. I'm like, I haven't even been tested yet. So I'm talking a bunch of shit, but I'm just being like, look, let's be honest. Even our solutions have flaws. It's
because
it's a lot.
We are not testing near. I mean, everybody says America.
But we care about the mortgages and we care about these cars, though. That's good.
I think America they're low on their testing, but I don't think any country has got the testing worked out. I mean, we have access to our testing, yes, but at the same time, it does not seem like as if we. I think you still can get tested over here and be sick. You know what I mean? It's not like as if.
I feel like South Korea and China have testing good, but you have to have.
Yeah.
I mean, South Korea does because it's South Korea, but they all. I mean, it's not like they're a communist country or something like that, but they deal with North Korea, so they're always prepared for emergencies and everything.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just think as a society, they're kind of used to we're in this together. We got to go. That's it. When my friend was in South Korea and she's like, oh yeah, all the subway systems are prepared for a nuclear strike in case North Korea. I said, that's what they live in. So they're kind of ready for stuff. And China is, of course, China. So, I mean, you saw the people we interviewed in China. It wasn't a choice. They were like, hey, it is what it is. We're China.
It wasn't much of a choice here either. There just weren't as many cops and everything on the street, but they enforce things with fines, definitely. Yeah. I heard though that most of the Asian countries that did so well, it's because they were not prepared for SARS, and they learned from SARS.
Yeah.
Just like Obama learned from Ebola.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the crazy thing. 2 people died under Obama for Ebola. 2. And he
we were ready.
And he left
in the States
detailed plan. He was like, here's
what people was like, he's stupid to do this.
And nothing was followed. I think Lindsey Graham just admitted today that he was wrong and Obama did leave a plan. Today. He said that today. After they've been saying for oh no, Obama didn't leave nothing. He just left us high and dry. It's no. And my thing is 2 people died under Ebola, and that was a big deal. Like 2 Americans died under Ebola. I don't know how many Americans have died with this so far. Like at this
point. We don't know any of the numbers,
none.
the true numbers.
The true numbers that are coming out, and it's these hazy. I estimate, you have estimates on cases. Like I said, they release, I know that right now they're saying Houston hospitals, just for our city, are almost at capacity, 99%.
Which doesn't make any sense because it's the medical center. The Texas Medical Center has got to be one of the largest medical centers in the United States.
Yeah.
I mean, top 4, 3, 2, something like that.
It's the largest. So we are the biggest, and they have been opening up other hospitals to get other people in. That's how big. Now, the other thing, too, is we're also a very large city, but we're a microcosm of what can be happening all over the country. So I was like, no matter how big or how small, you can overflow and overload your hospital very easily, like just that quickly.
Being irresponsible.
I just want to tell you guys, I was a responsible person, and I charged my iPad prior to, but I'm now in Loso.
No, it's okay.
I understand.
No. This is good because
we're ending
the end of it. No, we appreciate you staying up at midnight to talk.
This is easy. It's always somebody in Houston that's got me staying up later.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you coming on and giving us insight into what's happening. Hopefully, giving us insight into our future. Like maybe soon we'll be on the new normal where we can come out. I'm
ready to at least come home for a little bit. I want to go home for the voting and the holidays and everything. So please.
See you in 2021.
You're gonna
no,
I'm
trying to come home seriously.
You should probably.
They'll let you come in. Yeah, I got a friend.
Yeah. We let everybody come.
Yeah, from China.
Don't get sick.
Yeah. Vote by mail, because if you come here, your country not gonna let you back. Like you can come here. Spain might be like, nah, man. Did you talk to an American?
Right? This is the way I'm looking at it. I think that we're probably going to have to go back into quarantine September, right? By then, hopefully, the United States will be coming out. So I'll just go from, I'll just miss quarantine here and just go to the States. Maybe.
We're gonna be in super quarantine in September. Watch my prediction.
I think you're over it. So we can all take it. We're on camera right now. You say we're gonna be in quarantine. You think we're coming out. Mel thinks we're coming out. Avery thinks that we're gonna be in super quarantine.
September, right?
I also think that we're gonna be in super quarantine.
In September, we're talking about?
Yeah. September going into,
October, really. At the end of October, Halloween's canceled.
Yeah. I think it's done.
No.
And not because the powers that be will want to, just because of sheer numbers. Because we're still not treating this like it should be treated.
No.
So it is what
they just had a party 3 weeks ago. And then the numbers rose. And I remember we were all on Instagram. No, we were on Twitter. Like everybody at this Clay party, like y'all gonna get corona. It was like, nah.
That was Memorial Day, right?
Yeah.
There we go. It was sad. Sad, bro.
So, another club got closed down. I think this past weekend in Houston.
3 of them. They made the mayor shameless. 2 bars in the club.
Yeah.
Oh, that one that we were just talking about was one of them. So,
a lot.
Staying open. He said that he's a warehouse, or an event hall, not a club.
What does that matter?
That's
it's about
the amount of people. Everybody over here is trying to
almighty dollars
to still be essential.
Yeah.
And not abide by the rules.
The almighty dollar.
We're gonna be here for a minute.
Yeah.
I would recommend, vote by mail if Trump allows that.
I'm voting by mail, but still.
They need to make it where you can have an app, man. If I could vote for who can sing on American Idol by an app by now, they know they can do it because everything they said they couldn't do, they did it with COVID. But this is America, people, and we love this country. It's great. Once again, this has been in my humble opinion, with Melesa, correct?
Melesa.
Yeah.
Melesa Martin, Eminem, Melesa Martin, Jeff Devon, and Avery. That's just me. Whatever. In my humble opinion, where the opinions aren't humbled and the words aren't jumbled. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, you guys.
We appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for coming on. We're gonna wind up with Clay Aiken as a president if we vote. Never mind.